Okay, we're back. And yeah, this definitely does feel more like a typical Browns game, I guess. I mean, you had last week where the Browns actually win a game off of a field goal to at the last seconds. That's crazy. I think us Browns fans needed a palate cleanser after that one. This certainly does it. We're still gonna go with the good and the bad. And the first item on the docket is blowing a 13-point lead with less than 2 minutes left. I wonder which one that falls into which category. You can tell me in the comments whether that's good or bad, I guess, because I'm honestly not too sure myself. But let's get right into this. So the defense, I've seen a lot of things on social media that they made Joe Flacco look elite. Making Joe Flacco look good in 2022 is horrible. I watched the game. Joe Flacco did not look good. The Browns defense was just somehow even worse, particularly the secondary, because the defensive line and linebackers they did fine. But the secondary was just garbage. They weren't communicating very well, and if they were, they still didn't really know what the assignment was in this game. It felt like at least on one play in every drive, this might not have been the case, maybe not literally every single drive, but it seems like on every drive there would be at least one play where a receiver would be open, which happens sometimes even if you have a good game plan. I'm not going to say that, but the play would end, and you would see two Browns secondary members just kind of like pointing and yelling and like making hand gestures to another. I'm not like a coaching genius or anything, that's why I'm not coaching, but it feels like that should be happening before the play and not after. You want kind of like people to point out what things are going to happen before the play, and you don't want that to happen after the play where players are trying to accentuate, oh, hey, I was going to go here and you didn't do this thing or whatever. That doesn't seem too good. Kevin Stefanski in his post-game press conference attributing some of the communication errors and the mental lapses to youth in the secondary. There are a lot of NFL teams that have had very young secondaries in the past. I don't know if it has ever been that bad before where a 13-point lead with less than 2 minutes left is not safe. And that leads me to the coordinator, Joe Woods, who actually, I gave Joe Woods the benefit of the doubt in my head last year. Obviously, I didn't have videos last year, but in my head, I was thinking, the defense took a little bit of time to gel. They weren't good in the first half, but in the second half of the season, they stepped up their game. They had, a really good statistical defense, and the offense couldn't get it done in that second half last year. But it's clear that his coaching style leads to this no lead is safe kind of thing where now twice in two games, a game that was seemingly under control in the fourth quarter is now no longer, it turned into a nail biter. Both games, it just so happens that the Browns won the first one. You have the same problem here where, the offense was actually great. I'll get to them later. But you have a scenario where the offense has seemed to put enough points to put the game to bed, and the defense, just from not even the other team having a great game plan or anything, just the defense having a lapse in mental focus. In last game, at least, it was only a little bit. This game, the defense was consistently blowing coverages, letting guys get wide open, and that either means that this defense lacks talent in the secondary, which I find a little hard to believe, or this team has bad coaching, or maybe it's just a bit of both, where maybe we're overhyping some guys like Grant Delpit and MJ Emerson and maybe Greg Newsome is regressing a little bit, and maybe it is also just the scheme not being very friendly to these players and their skill sets, or maybe it's a bit hard to understand. And I'm not saying that the guys in secondary are dumb. I'm saying that maybe this is giving them too much to think about as the play is happening. Maybe maybe it's a simple when you have that game. I know in Madden plays aren't called like Madden, but what's the play called to just hit cover 3 or cover 4 or make sure you don't give up a touchdown? It's okay if they get yards as long as they eat up their own clock and they don't, score or whatever, but instead they give up a wide open coverage on the first play of a drive, which you're up by 13 with less than 2 minutes left. Okay, and the defense, I think, is obviously the main root of them losing this game, but the special teams this game did not help at all. So you got on one of the first drives, it might have been the first drive, a fake punt by the Jets gets a first down for them and keeps it moving. I believe they score a touchdown on that drive, so there's that. Cade York missing the extra point. I get that it's going to happen, but still, when that extra point leads to the team losing by 1, that's something to bring up. I understand that the missed extra point is not the main catalyst of the loss. It wasn't like the final dagger in the Browns' heart or anything, but it definitely played a role in it, which is fine. And then there's the onside kick coverage. Oh my goodness, this was so bad. So basically what happened was the Jets kicked the onside kick, and the ball rolled across the 45, and the Jets player was actually just closer to it. 28, I'm sorry that I'm blanking on names. I'm kind of running on fumes a little bit as far as remembering things that happened. 28 goes to block a guy, and then either the other person on the end was not anticipating that or was just assuming that this Jets player wasn't going to pick up the ball as soon as it crossed, because the Browns player was like 1 or 2 yards away from the 45. If the Browns player is closer than the 45, he just cover it up, and then that's fine. But either way, the special teams did not help in this game. And I know the obvious call is, well, you have to fire, Joe Woods and think about everything. The Browns have to play the Steelers on Thursday. They have to quickly turn around and make this thing go away. I would usually say no, you have to analyze this, and a loss this bad, you can't just burn the tape. You have to sit down and think, especially because of all the miscommunications in the defense or whatever. They have a game on Thursday against Pittsburgh. They have a divisional game on Thursday. They don't have time to sit and dwell on this game that much, because they have to turn around and play another one on Thursday. And that sucks for the Browns, because this feels like a loss where it's just, if you coach the mistakes out, then this would not have been an issue. This would not have been this might not even been a close game. It wasn't a close game. That's the thing. This was not the Jets winning a close game. This was the Browns imploding in on themselves and awarding the Jets a victory pretty much single-handedly. Like with Joe Flacco, he didn't look good. The Browns defense was just worse. The Browns were worse than the Jets today. And that's horrible to say. Now, like it was last week, where it was silly to say that the Browns didn't do anything bad against the Panthers. The Browns did do good things in this game against the Jets. Their running game is good. Their offensive line, which by the way is technically operating at 60% full strength, is top notch, at least against these two teams, where technically their starting center, who's going to be out for the season, and Jack Conklin, their starting right tackle, isn't even in yet, and this offensive line is already dominant. I think that does speak to Bill Callahan and the system they have there. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are obviously the best 1-2 punch in the league, so that's good. Jacoby Brissett actually probably played the ideal version of Jacoby Brissett that we didn't see last week, where he was very good at making those safe decisions, and also took a little bit of risk, but not too much. And I think that is a limitation to his game that the Browns just had to accept for the 9 more games they have him as the starter. But as for what Jacoby Brissett offers, I think that's the best we're going to get out of him, and it was good enough to win this game on his part at least. It's just that the team around him did not help. And I also thought that Amari Cooper and David Njoku were much more noticeable in this game than maybe in last game. I know Jacoby Brissett made a bit more effort to look for Amari Cooper because he noticed he was getting wide open last week, so that's good. David Njoku getting that extension, and thus he should be getting more production. We started to see a little bit more of that this week, which was good. And overall, the offensive game that the Browns played today was very well, and I thought it was, again, like I said, the offense did enough that this game should have been put away pretty easily. But, defensive lapses, horrible onside kick coverage, and more defensive lapses, essentially, is what led to this win for the Browns. And another good thing that I almost forgot to mention is that the rest of the AFC North is imploding too as we speak. The Ravens and the Steelers both lost. This is being filmed as the Bengals-Cowboys game is going on. I just checked the final score. The Bengals also lost to the Cowboys. So the rest of the AFC North also lost too, so I guess that's good. Although you could look at it the other way, where the Browns could have took control of this division this week. They could have been the only 2-0 team in the AFC North, and they just couldn't close it out, couldn't get it done. And now you have a divisional round matchup against the Steelers, so that's another opportunity to, I guess, take control and make up for this game. But nothing that I saw this week really helped me believe that they could do that. So hopefully the Steelers not having TJ Watt is enough of a hopefully it's enough of a thing so that the Browns offense can get some movement going, because even though the Steelers offense sucks, I think the Jets offense will probably also suck. It did in week 1. So that didn't stop the Browns from having a horrible defensive game against the Jets. So I guess that's it. This did not give me any faith that they can beat the Steelers, who perennially have the Browns number in every game ever, except for that one time in the playoffs. But that's long history by now. So that's essentially it. Thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, please feel free to leave a like and a subscribe if you'd like to see more. Let me know what you think about this Browns game down in the comments below. Thank you all again for watching, and I will see you at the next one.